Hi guys, it's Sheena from Teton Raptor Center, and I'm here to give you all this week's patient update. Just this week, we've been able to release 4 birds from our rehabilitation facility, so let's go ahead and get started. To start things off this week is one of our recent releases. This is Sharp-shinned Hawk 10-5, and this bird was admitted from Idaho Falls after he flew into a window and was partially stunned. As soon as the bird arrived to TRC, it was alert, active, and able to fly around without any issues. So just a few days later, the bird was ready to be released back into the wild.
Okay, today is the day we get to release Sharp-shinned Hawk 10-5 here in Idaho Falls.
Our second release of the week is Red-tailed Hawk 9-14, and this bird came in from Idaho Falls after being found weak and emaciated on the ground. The bird successfully gained weight and proved he could hunt several times, deeming him ready for release, and he was released back into the wild in Idaho where he was found on Saturday. Our third release this week is from Swainson's Hawk 9-12, and this juvenile came into TRC from Driggs, Idaho after being hit by a car. The hawk ended up having a fractured scapula, which healed perfectly over time, and the bird was successfully released back out into the wild on Wednesday. Our fourth and final release for the week is Cooper's Hawk 9-10, and this bird came into Evanston, Wyoming and suffered from a fractured coracoid. The fracture healed perfectly and the bird was successfully released on Wednesday back in Evanston. First up for our current patients is Cooper's Hawk 10-9, and this juvenile bird came in from Wilson, Wyoming after a suspected vehicle strike. The bird is dealing with moderate head trauma as well as trauma to the left eye, and in addition to these injuries, the bird was also found emaciated. Throughout the week, this bird is becoming more stable, gaining weight, and receiving medications to help with pain and swelling. He also has some exposed bone on his skull and has a special head bandage to keep the bone from drying out while the tissue and skin heal over top. Next up is Great Horned Owl 10-5, and this bird came in from Afton, Wyoming. Upon x-ray, staff noticed that she had a small fractured portion of her tailbone as well as a section of her pelvis that was also fractured. Additionally, the bird was found emaciated but had developed a great appetite and has recently moved out of the ICU and into the PCU. Due to her fractures, she isn't able to get up off the ground very much, but since she's relatively calm and will not try to fly around and further injure her fracture site, she's a great candidate to move out of the ICU and into a bigger space. Next, we have Cooper's Hawk 9-24, and this bird came in from Green River, Wyoming after dealing with severe head and eye trauma. The bird was on a course of medicated eye drops that helped resolve the eye trauma. However, the hawk recently took a turn for the worse and was found in a state of paralysis on Wednesday morning after dealing with several mild to moderate seizures. The hawk was quickly moved into our oxygen unit located in our ICU and was given a series of emergency drugs. We're hopeful that we can stabilize this bird and that he'll bounce back. Next up is our female American Kestrel 9-8, and this bird came in from Rigby, Idaho with a broken wing. She underwent a successful orthopedic pin placement surgery, and after the bone healed fully, she was ready to get the pin removed. Her second surgery to remove the pin was successful, and she's been moved out of the ICU and into an enclosure in the PCU, where she has plenty of space to move around. We're going to continue providing physical therapy every other day to regain the full range of motion in her wrist, as well as begin flight conditioning in her enclosure. Next up is Swainson's Hawk 8-31, and this bird is currently undergoing paperwork to be transferred to TRC's Education Bird Program. She's non-releasable due to the lack of vision in her left eye, and as of right now, the bird is actually dealing with some soft tissue injuries on her wrist that require her to be in the ICU. We did take a blood draw from this bird last week, sent it off to a lab, and determined that the bird's sex is a confirmed female. Next up, we have Golden Eagle 8-5, and this hatchier bird is non-releasable due to the total loss of vision in her left eye. Since native tribes have first priority over non-releasable eagles and have shown interest in the bird, we're currently waiting to hear a final decision for them and will not proceed with any other paperwork until we hear back from them. Next, we have red-tailed hawk 525, and this non-releasable adult has extremely limited vision in his left eye. And since birds cannot survive in the wild without perfect vision, he is set to be transferred to the Audubon Nature Center in New York to be a glove bird once the paperwork is approved. Last but not least is Golden Eagle 4-2, and this adult female is unable to fly and therefore will not be able to ever return to the wild. She is set to be transferred to the Ecotarium in Massachusetts, where she will happily live out her days as a permanent resident bird. And right now we're just waiting for paperwork approval to approve the transfer. All right, that's all we've got in store for this week. I hope you all enjoyed learning more about our birds, and I look forward to talking with you all next week.